Chris, thank you for. Hey, everyone. Anyone listening to this later online, welcome to the Tulsa Center for Spiritual Living. Thank you to our YouTube friends who join us, and thanks to everyone in the room for being here. Chris, I loved your that image of the colors of the wind.
Yeah.
Right. Some of us did a class last night on as part of the foundations class, and there were a whole bunch of guided meditations in there. And what struck me is how many people got really images of colors during their meditations, right? There were, I mean, Randy, you described as having this like right away, boom, into color. Emily, who's on with us online, right into colors. And that's one of those things that happen when we connect quietly to the universe. And through the theme of curiosity that we bring with us this month, we can ask those questions like, what? You don't need to interpret it and figure it out, but we can claim that I know in this moment that these colors that I'm getting during this meditation are for me in some way. How does that unfold? How does that come through? And that's one of the things that we can bring, like you said, a childlike wonder into the things that are happening in our lives and the way that we respond to the things that are happening in our lives. I'd like to pause for just a moment with that curiosity. When I look around the room here, and I want to acknowledge this energy of love that is happening here. Like there is, here at the Tulsa Center for Spiritual Living, we were once a Church of Religious Science, and we are having our 60th anniversary this year here in Tulsa. And I know also that there are other communities. There is a Spirit Fair here in town. We have our Unity churches. We have other independent metaphysical churches. And I look at people throughout this room who all started in some way with curiosity to say, what's the meaning of life? What do I believe? Do I believe in God? Do I believe in spirit? Do I care about community? And then there's something about each person in here, whether it's your first time or your second time, or in some cases, your many hundreds of times here at church, that call us in to go into community and relationship and engagement to learn more about ourselves, our role in the creative process, knowing that we have this belief and that the power of love and God and spirit has one way into the world, and that's through each and every one of us. So that curiosity that takes us in that place is really a place for knowing that there's always more to be learned and divined and experienced and pulled through our experience of life. So we are magnificent expressions of the divine. All in favor? I say aye. And we're called to live a life filled up and overflowing with the goodness of God. Curiosity can pull us in the direction of uncovering our good and lead us to know the truth of what we are. Earlier this month, I introduced the concept of curiosity. Some of you were here by the example of author Elizabeth Gilbert, who wrote Eat, Play, Pray, Love, successful movie, and then found herself lacking inspiration, not called to what that next great work was going to be. So she just asked herself, is there anything I'm interested in right now? Is there anything I'm interested in? And it turned out that for her, she got the idea of gardening was interesting. And 3 years later, through a course of exploration and education and learning, she wound up writing a successful novel about a fictional family of 19th century botanical explorers, which came out a moment or two of boredom saying, what am I called to do right now, right? That simple question. I also can think of my life example that just a year ago, almost exactly a year ago, I was in this place of curiosity about my career. After working a very busy 19 years and having no downtime to be a minister, which I studied for 10 years to become a minister and was too tired to practice. Simple curiosity said, I wonder if this company in Dallas, Southwest Airlines might hire someone with my experience level. What do I do with that? Pick up the phone and call. Boom, a month later, I'm starting a new career. that frees up my life and time to show up here in ministry. You've probably heard the phrase that what we focus on, we get more of. And that's a double-edged sword, isn't it? Right? Because the other side of that is what we resist persists, because if we are resisting something, we're also focusing on that energy. Our energy, our attention, our responses shape the experience of life. So no matter how small, using the superpower of curiosity helps direct our energies into a more expansive place. So I think of Liz Gilbert just thinking, okay, what am I curious about? I look at a flower. So suddenly I'm now focusing on a quality of God, right? Spirit. I'm called beauty. I'm focusing on a quality of life. Here's something living and focused life in front of me. And then life moved into a more curious place and brought about a new success. So think for about a moment about this magnificent creature, the octopus, right? What a cool creature that is. A huge octopus can move its entire body through the teeny tiniest of places. Ask any, fisher person who brought an octopus on board expecting to have dinner or something for sale, only to find it found something a little bigger than a pinhole in the side of the boat and is back in the water again, right? So think for a moment about us. There is a true power of God, of spirit, which can move its entire power through the tiny opening known as us, to the extent that we're willing and able to accept and to learn more about it. The universe can only give us what we can take, said our founder, Ernest Holmes. The universe can only give us what we take. And since our taking is a thing of consciousness, the universe can only give us what we are aware of. The universe can only give us what we take, what we allow it to flow through us. And since our taking is a thing of consciousness, the universe can only give us what we are aware of. Ernest Holmes. So curiosity grows our awareness. It sparks our imagination, it expands our consciousness, and it brings us mental equivalence. A mental equivalent is when we think, we begin to imagine into that what we want to experience. For Elizabeth Gilbert, it may have been her next, whatever it is, her next book or movie. For me, it was a next career. For all of you, you have something in your mind. You think, what am I seeking? We begin to picture it first in mind, and that opens us up. As we become a bigger opening, we can allow the octopus through us more quickly, right? Octopus for God, flowing through us to the extent that we allow it to flow. So curiosity as a superpower can transform your life. Delving into the unknown, seeking to understand more about the world and more about yourself can lead to truly amazing discoveries. Curiosity is one of the driving forces that we use to explore the unknown. Seek for the unexplored. Look at questions from a different angle and seek for answers. Curiosity is a tool that can turn the average mind into the magnificent. History has lots of examples of how seemingly ordinary people did extraordinary deeds. Let's think about Sir Isaac Newton, who experienced an apple perhaps falling on his head that led to discovering the law of force, gravitation. Think of Nobel Prize winner and founder of the Grameen Bank in Bangladesh, Muhammad Yunus. His curiosity led to the creation of a microloan system for the poor, people who had no funds to start their business and couldn't afford to even pay back $1 a day. That bank is built entirely on trust between loan recipients and those who are putting their money forward and through the bank administration. To date, it has loaned over $8 billion. Its branches are being opened all over the world with one single mission: to eradicate poverty from the world. Mm-hmm. One person's idea to lean into this experience of, so we sit there and think, gosh, little me can do nothing to change the world. We sure can. And we have that ability, those ideas. And when we do that in community here with people who are standing to support us and say, yes, I believe that can happen. When we do that in community, you know, someone can stand behind you in prayer to know the highest good and possibility of that little seed, that little nugget of what you have. And for some people, that is, I'd like Tulsa Center for Spiritual Living to be a shining light here in the middle of the city of Tulsa, offering spiritual tools to transform our lives and make the world a better place. And that's what we're doing here. Let's do it. Curiosity is one of the vital components to find answers, to look at issues from different angles, to challenge logically accepted insights and ideologies. We have curiosity and ability to ask to start making a difference. All it takes is simply giving it a try. Now, there are some spiritual traditions in the world where curiosity might be the work of the devil, right? Don't ask those questions. Here we are welcomed and invited to ask questions. What do we believe? Does that mean this? Help me understand this. I don't get it. How does this link to that? Is this right? What do you think? And that's one of the opportunities of showing up here in this beauty of community that is truly open at the top. We have the ability to be and do different things differently. Mark Nepo, in his book of Awakening, he's an amazing author. He shared the story of philosopher Michael Zimmerman, who told the story of a boy in school when someone passed him a pair of those bamboo finger traps. Right? I know there were like teachers who had them in a box of things when we were kids, you know, here, try these on. So the seemingly innocent bamboo thimble-like casing with an opening on each end, it was passed to him without a word. And of course, through curiosity, he slipped his left forefinger in one end and then his right forefinger in the other. Mysteriously, what made them handcuffs was that the more you tried to pull your fingers out, the tighter they held them in. Right? Feeling caught, he panicked and pulled harder. The small cuffs did what? Tighter, tighter, tighter. But suddenly it occurred to him to try the opposite. As he leaned his fingers into the problem, dropped his thumbs down, he could gently work his fingers back free again. I know parents give these to kids just to mess with them, I think. I know I did. So what he resisted persisted until he surrendered into a relaxing into the process of the way things work and became free again to flow. So think of the repetitive problems we have in life that we need to solve. Now, the problem may not be solved right here and right now. Think about when we get stuck in a mental finger trap. When we are engaged in the problem and begin to push and pull and push and pull, the problem holds a tighter grip on us. And the problem then gets larger. The circulation's cut off in our fingers. When we are stuck, we tend to resist, push and pull against. And we now know that that normal solution was not working, right? What else can we do when that happens? Stop, pause, right? Take a moment, take a breath. Get curious about what's happening here. What's happening in this mental finger trap that has me stuck in resistance and pulling, and begin to relax. Okay? With curiosity about what's experiencing, what the mind is thinking, we can begin to call in a new solution. We can become a bigger conduit for spirit to flow through us, for the answers of the divine intelligence, for the one mind, the one power to download some new creative solutions. Okay? When we pull that thought gently, we can slowly relax, move the finger trap to the side. But when you're in it, you can, and so when you are in it, ask, Am I stuck in a mental finger trap right now? Right? Is my mind going, what is this about? Remember to relax, to get curious, try the opposite, and maybe see how things unfold. So that's a great look at thinking about curiosity as a superpower to get us out of those crunching, trapping situations where the mind is rolling. Curiosity is also at work, another point, in times of surrender. Like when we are able to set that finger trap aside. All too often we get caught up in the doingness, the busyness of life. And when we think of being curious, it can bring up feelings of more than one thing to do, right? Well, I'm curious, I'm going down this road. Oh, I have one more book to read, or one more thing to research on the internet, or one more thing. Again, pause, right? We can get our curiosity ignited by doing, but it also can be satisfied by simply being, by taking the moment of quiet and asking what's called to occur right now. When we surrender and allow the quiet to descend around us, our curious minds travel to the place of infinite possibility, pure potentiality. And it is there that some of our greatest inspirations can occur, like that fabulous microbank. Living out loud is my final point here. Live it out loud, allowing that God to flow through you. Curiosity allows us to see the magnificence of who we are, the magnificence of the world in which we live. When we go to that place, we can revel in the wonderment and live life out loud, expressing the joy of that spirit's impulse flowing through us. Or not. We are always at choice, right? What will your choice be today and tomorrow? Will you choose to see the divine expressed through you and live life to its fullest? Or will you choose something different? There's no right or wrong. And I can tell you for sure, I'll probably do all of those several times over and over again in the next 24 hours, right? Part of it is recognizing these flows that we're going through. And the more we do this work, the more we can remember to breathe, to surrender, to let go, and get ourselves out of the finger trap. Dr. Holmes said, if we were to further inquire of our imagination what the ultimate purpose of evolution is, the most logical answer it could give would be that the purpose of life is to produce beings who can consciously cooperate with it, right? The purpose of life is to produce beings who can consciously cooperate with it, and that through such cooperation, the principle itself may more completely express. Love that, right? Produce beings, produce us, produce friends and family and people around us, starting with ourselves, where principle can more completely express, right? Where the octopus can get through the hole more quickly and onto its next expression of freedom. And so, do not hold back in fear. Dive in with curiosity. Put on your cape of superpower, right? The superpower of curiosity, and know that there's only one you, that one magnificent shining light. Don't hide it under a bushel, or in the affirmation, let that light shine. And so it is.